Hello, hello, hello. It's that day. It's that time. I'm working. Okay, yeah, okay, looks good. So I see Kathleen and Catherine, you're already here. Hi, 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 hi. Sorry I had to come on a little later than usual. Um, Technical difficulties. Since I moved into this space, I've been trying to figure out the a good setup, and I thought I had one, but it wasn't working, so I had to kind of hurry up and tear that down and go back to what you're used to seeing. But in the process, I broke a ring light. It's not broken to the point where I can't use it, but it's definitely going to need some repair when this live's over. I'll probably have to, and I need to buy another one. I never replaced the other ring light I broke anyway, so I'm going to need to repair this one and probably replace the one that I never replaced. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. Um, So what's new? What you guys doing? What are you working on? What are you drinking? Got news? Share it. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for somebody to reply. Doo-doo-doo. So Catherine, you're drinking ice water and knitting a sock. Cool. Are you just doing one sock, or are you doing like both of them at the same time? I don't know if YouTube sent out my notice yet. They might not have. I'm gonna go ahead and share this link real quick on my social medias. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Oh man, come on. Everything's running slowly. Everything's slow. There we go. Second sock syndrome. Is that where you don't want to do the second sock? Or is it that you can't get the sock to match, so you end up with more like cousins instead of siblings? What second sock syndrome? Curious minds want to know. So I always have that problem when I have to do things that are in pairs, even when it like comes to things like sleeves. Um, you know, getting sleeves to match can be a nightmare. And I have a story about that I'll talk about here in a minute. Um, Anytime you have to do even panels like on like sweaters or vests or what have you, getting them to match size wise and stuff can be such a pain in the butt. You know, you don't always realize your mood definitely comes out in your tension in your crochet. So when you're a happier mood, you tend to like probably crochet looser. When you're more tense, you crochet tighter. So if you were like trying to like crochet using crochet as therapy one day, and then the next day you're just crocheting because you just love to crochet, and you're trying to make two matching things, there's a good chance that they're not going to match. So that's just, I don't know. I always have a hard problem with that. But you're saying no motivation. But what are you going to do with just one sock, though? I would think that if you finish one sock, that would be motivation enough to do the second one. Because otherwise, you just wasted your time on the first sock. But no, maybe that's just me. So let's see. I'm gonna try to wait to see if more people strolled in here, but I don't know if YouTube has sent out notifications. I did my notification on Facebook, but I don't know if it's gone out either. Hi Kathleen, she's drinking a liqueur, beach plum sparkling water, and munching on Chex Mix bold, except for those hard, tasteless white bread thingies in the bag. But I like the hard, tasteless white bread thingies in the bag. Although I do prefer the pumpernickel ones in the Gardetto's mix bag. But I'll eat the white ones in the Chex Mix. And I'm also drinking a liqueur. Oh, no, I'm drinking, I believe it's a lime. And Kathleen's also working on a sock, of course. Kathleen, if you're working on something other than socks, I'd be worried. Catherine is saying, I watch a podcast where one of the ladies is going to hang all of her one sock wonders on her wall as art. That's not a bad idea. Yep, just hang up all the one socks and call it an art installation. Works for me. Oh yeah, the pumpernickel ones are great. Oh my god, I love this so much. I love the Gardetto's mix though. Although I shouldn't, because if you read the amount of sodium in that bag, oh my god. But it's so good. Same with the Chex Mix though. But yes, the One Sock Wonders wall art installation. I love the idea of that. That's just great. Sounds like a great idea to me. Okay, so I do have some things I want to talk about tonight. Um, First thing is, my apologies for not being here last week. It was a pretty bad time. A longtime friend, like someone that I've known since like our first week of college, when we were eight. Well, I was 18, he was 17. And we're talking like back in 1987. Um, Passed away from a massive heart attack, and I found out Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, and we were very close. Um, we had one of those relationships where we dated on and off through college, well into our 20s, and then decided that we were better off as friends. And we were just a really, 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 really close friends for the last 30 plus years. And he just died suddenly. And like I said, I found out, and just, it was devastating. I mean, my heart just shattered into a million pieces. So I was in no condition to be on here talking about yarn or anything last week. So my apologies for missing, but I'm sure you guys understand. The T-shirt I'm wearing, he got me for my birthday, so I figured I'd wear it tonight. He was in the anime and comics, and I am too, to an extent, but nowhere near the extent he was. But he went to all the Comic Cons in like a 200-mile radius. and he was a beautiful singer. He was funny. If I heard a ding in the middle of the night, I knew it was going to be him, and I knew it was probably going to be some silly, massively inappropriate meme he's private messaged me. So I've been dealing with him not being here anymore, and just another new normal. I'm getting entirely good at creating new normals, but I guess that's the price of loving somebody, losing them. I guess. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for the last week, and it's been so fun. Let me tell you, woot woot. But let's see, what Catherine? What are you saying? Has anyone heard of a pattern or the math for making socks for under prosthesis? Just I don't know when you just need to just blah. When you just need to know the circumference of the prosthesis and just knit or crochet to that. I'm not sure if I'm following what you're asking. Yeah, he was an amazing singer. Yeah, amazing singer. Hi, Philip. I love you too. I always shared out this link when I remember to do it. Turning points and road markers. Of course, if we own that whole hill, we're going to have to like do something like for some sort of party or I don't know campground or something. We have to do something with it. Community garden, something. Um. So, all right, let's get to the portion where we talk about what I have completed. Because are you ready for this? I actually completed some stuff. Grief is a weird thing. Grief can be a really weird motivator because you want to occupy your brain, so you actually work on things and you actually finish some things. So first thing, uh, here's my vest. That's the back. You can't see, I'm sure. And here's the front. I know I've got you probably see them. I've got 1.5 million ends to weave in, and I will weave them in eventually. Keyword there being eventually. And I'm probably going to do some sort of ribbing, and it's probably going to be in that color right there. So I'm going to put ribbing around it, all the way around it. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a hood on it or not. I'm waffling back and forth about whether or not to add a hood. I'm leaning towards a hood, actually, but we shall see. But for all intents and purposes, I'm calling this vest done because it can be worn the way it is, and therefore I could go ahead and submit this as part of Markia's um, make along. So I have to go post that on Miss Naughty Crush's rivalry page. Hey VJ, I'm good. How are you? I've been a little too busy doing stuff that I haven't even made like anybody's lives or chats this week. But that vest was one thing that I completed. Here are a couple of more things. We got a little ghost. We got a pumpkin. And what has to be the cutest piece of candy corn I've ever seen in my life. The only candy corn I like. Right there. Whee! So that's what I've been working on. Um, Captain saying there should be some short rows, and I'm not smart enough to understand the math. Or would there just be like some decreases? Um, I'm not sure. I really have. You know what, Kathleen? I'm not sure. But I bet if you search on YouTube, there's probably a video on it. Matter of fact, why not? Let's check. You want a pattern for making socks for? Okay, when you say under a prothesis, what do you mean under? I'm not totally sure what you mean. Uh, let's see. So those are my finished objects. You know the vest that I showed you, I guess 2 weeks ago. It was the purple, and then and it was purple, and then this. Remember that vest? I frogged it. Um, I got the whole thing put together, tried it on. It didn't lay right. It was kind of lopsided. The panels were like what I better describe lopsided. So I was like, you know what, forget it. So I frogged it, and I'm just going to do a top down sweater with that yarn instead. I didn't want to frog it, but it just was not, you know, ideal. I didn't like it. So that's something neat for the frog pile. Between the prosthesis and the skin. So you want the sock for the remainder of the limb, or I'm not. If anybody else is following and can explain it, great. Because I'm not. I just can't follow what Kathleen is asking about. But so yeah, I frogged that. I figure I'll try something else. As for these little cute guys, I have a couple more I'm going to make, and a couple of these I'm actually going to like put like little witches hats on. So it's going to be like a little candy corn witch, you know, a ghost witch. I don't know about the pumpkin. The pumpkin may be a little hard to do witch hats on because of its stem, but I'll find some way to like extra Halloween the pumpkin. Aha! VJ found something. I'm glad I think VJ figured out what you were talking about because I just could not place what you're asking for. Hmm. Did not mean to do that. I was going to take us on a field trip, but it's not going to let me. So it is a cover for the cover the knee and maybe 4 inches. So are you talking about somebody that's bought prosthesis from the knee up? It's the, uh, Yeah, I take it like I said, I can take it on a field trip, but I can't highlight it. No, okay, so VJ did show you what you need. That's cool. Yay! Glad we got that sorted out. So those are my finished objects. Um, Told you about the thing I'm frogging. Let's see. Oh, duh, you're right. I do have a tab open. I don't know why I didn't think to go to the actual YouTube page. Duh. Over here trying to like highlight it in StreamYard. Can't figure out why it's working. Not working. Duh. Go to the YouTube tab that you have open. Uh, Alrighty. So, in my Yarny communities this week, it's been fun because things are ramping up and people are making things, and a whole lot of people are are asking the how much should I charge for this question? From amigurumi to Afghans, and pretty much anything and everything in between. And I give my typical, answer, which is the cost of the materials plus your hours of labor, which you're going to times by 10, or I have conceded and said you could use your local minimum wage if $10 like balks at you. But of course, if your local minimum wage is more than $10, then yeah, feel free to use it. But anyway, cost of materials, labor times whatever you're charging per hour, and then times that, add those together, and times that by either 1 or 1.5. That's pretty much the formula I use. And a lot of people were like, "But if I charge that, then that's going to like price me out of my market." And again, I've had to explain to them that you when you're doing this, you're going to do this as a business. You just can't think locally. You have to think at least regionally, if not nationally or globally. Um, I couldn't get what I paid if I used Red Heart Super Saver and I got it on sale. I still probably could not get my material costs around here. It's just not going to happen. Um, but I don't have a whole lot of local customers either. I have a handful that appreciate the skill and the craft of crocheting, and they do pay me what I ask. But for the most part, people around here still think if you're charging more than $50 for a queen size Afghan, then you're just trying to rob them. And I don't have the energy to deal with that. I can't get the yarn for $50. And even if you take them to Walmart and you point that out to them, they'll still be like, "Well, you're charging me too much." So I'm not trying to argue with that. I'm not going to convince people or try to convince them that I am that my prices are for them because I shouldn't have to convince anybody of that. So I've also been preaching the whole like don't you can't just think locally, you have to think outside of your local area. But then as I was going through all that, this one woman had posted this absolutely adorable amigurumi dinosaur. I mean, this thing was just no words. It was a brontosaurus, so it had like the crown and the horns and the points and the spots and the nose. It was just absolutely positively adorable. And she's like, I priced it out. She's like, and if I were to use like I she had no saw what I had put as my pricing method. She's like, and if I use that, this thing's going to be $250. And that's what I had to look at. I read the message and I had to like message her back and go, sometimes you're not going to get what you've put into a piece. You know, it's just not realistic. Sometimes the best you could possibly hope for is to break even. Um, you know, I'm all for getting what what you're worth. All for it, and I will preach that, and I will scream that to the rafters. But there also comes a point where there are certain things that just are not feasible to make to sell, and that doll was one of them. That will forever be a labor of love. Is there somebody out there that would pay $250 to $300 for that dinosaur? Probably, but finding them at the time when they're in the market for it is like a needle in a haystack. So there are going to be things that you're going to make or you're going to consider making, but when you do the math, it's not going to work out. For instance, I'm not making one, but let's say I decided that I wanted to make a queen size Afghan out of Malabriga yarn. Um, Malabrigo, let's $15 for 100 yards. Okay, and a queen size Afghan could be up to 3,000 yards of yarn. I'm not going to get how much it would cost me to make that Afghan because I'm looking at what? Okay, 103,000. What 300? Yeah, I can't do math, but and I don't have a calculator anywhere around me. Oh, wait, yes, I do. So if you've got 3,000 yards, and each skein is 100 yards, you're looking at 30 skeins, and you're looking at $15 a skein. You have $450 just in yarn. And then I'm going to factor, and then if I were to factor in say the 25 hours it would take me to make it, so that's 25 times 10, so that's 250. So now you're up to what, 700? Yeah. And then I haven't even factored in my markup. So okay, let's be fun. Let's factor in a 1.3 markup. You'll get $910 for that Afghan. Now, could I possibly sell that Afghan for $910 because it's merino wool Malabrigo, so it's going to be soft and luxurious and absolutely lovely? There probably is somebody out there. I'm sure there is somebody out there that would buy it. But who has the time to go around and search those people out? So, you're better off making that Afghan if you're going to sell it out of a less luxurious yarn so that your profit margin, well, you have a profit margin. You can actually afford to charge so that you actually make money off of the item. Um, if somebody special orders the Afghan and they want it made out of Malabrigo and they're okay with paying almost $500 for the yarn, then hey, go to it. But it's going to be a hard sell for most people. So, in other words, when you're making things, sometimes if you're thinking about making something and you want to sell it, you might want to think long and hard about the materials that go into it and the cost and the time, so that you know that whatever your price is going to be, you're going to make a profit. Because I'm not for like just breaking even. No, if you're going to do this, you need to make a profit. If you're going to be a business, then the point of a business is to make a profit. So you have to add that markup. And if that all of those numbers added together makes you raise your eyebrow when you see the price, then maybe that's not the item you need to sell. Maybe you need to, I don't know, learn to crochet faster. Maybe you need to use less costly materials. Um, but either way, sometimes there are going to be things that just aren't going to be worth the cost. You're not going to be able to get the price, get the money back that you put into them. And in that case, I consider them a labor of love. If you continue with it, you want to give it away, or you want to sell it and break even, or what have you. Hi, Joy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I have spent a good part of my time this past week explaining that to people. What to charge, how to charge, why to charge it, who to market to, and that sometimes things just can't be priced to appeal to the average market. So anyway, have you guys made something and then you realized that the amount that it would cost to sell it, you probably would never get? And if so, what did you do with the item? Just curious to see if you guys have experienced that. I can't say I have. For the most part, I'm pretty good with my pricing and with combining the a fiber or yarn that is low enough price point wise that I actually still make a profit. Now I'm not always making huge gigantic profits. Sometimes it's only literally like $10 profit, but it's profit nonetheless. Catherine is saying yes. My Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. They are sitting in my living room. Yeah, when you were making those, I was like, so okay, Catherine, if you were to sell them, well, how would you price them? What would you sell them for? I'm just curious. Hi, Kelly. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, Catherine, nothing else, they'll make like um, great display items to use for people to see, and then you could always use lower cost materials to make theirs. Because I mean, just because you're using lower cost material doesn't mean that they're lower quality. They just, there's a difference between how Malabriga feels and how why can I never remember Joanne's Value Yarn's name, or Mainstay Basic it feels. There's nothing wrong with Mainstay Basic. Oh, Big Twist. There's nothing wrong with Big Twist. I love Big Twist. Big Twist is my go-to value yarn. But it does not feel the same as Malabrigo. I mean, it is what it is. And Kathleen is saying I call those dream pieces because that's the only place I can afford to make it. Oh, I've made several pieces for myself out of expensive yarn, and that's what it comes down to. Um, the stuff that I make out of my expensive yarn normally ends up as gifts because you're just never going to get back out of it what you put in it, unless, like I said, it's a customized order. Not sure, about 40 for each in yarn. and many hours, but Andy went faster because I learned so much from making Ann. Yeah, that's another thing. Um, when you're factoring in your time, you got to consider that the first time you make something, you're always going is going to be your slowest, always. Well, no, not don't let me say always. Almost always, the first time you make something is going to be your slowest. So when you're doing a time factor for an item, and you know it's your first time, you know you're going to be slow, you may want to eat some of that. So shave some of that off to maybe make your pricing a little more realistic. Because I mean, there was a time when on a shocking, it would take me an hour to make a granny square. Now I can knock out a granny square in 10 minutes. So obviously there's a big difference there price wise. So I'm not for passing on your inexperience to the customer. I think that if you're going to make things for customers, you need to price like you're experienced, if not an expert, and then you just have to eat that extra time cost yourself. I wouldn't pass that on. That's not fair. So it's you've got $40 in yarn and many hours, and they're 2 feet tall. These are some decent sized dolls. So let's say again, enjoy saying depends on where you live too. We could not make as much here as say New York or Los Angeles. Yeah, Drew, I think you missed it. I had just said that we have a hard enough time getting Red Heart Super Saver on sale prices around here, let alone priced for some of the other yarn. This is a really hard market. I mean, this is a market where I also said that, like, if you're charging more than $50 for an Afghan, they're raising their eyebrows at you. Those of you that don't know, Joy and I live in the same area. I think all y'all know that, though. I very rarely have local customers. I have four local customers. Everybody else is from someplace else. But Catherine, so in other words, you wouldn't be charging anything less than like probably what $70 per doll, which actually for the size of those dolls and the work that went into it isn't bad. But I think even 70 is a little on the low end though. Total 80 in yarn and stuffing. I would want to charge at least 150 for the pair, but we're not. No, that's actually a fair. That'd be a fair price for the pair. I said about like $70 to $75 each. So 150 for the pair is about right. Okay, wait, Kathleen, I think I missed something. Kathleen, you made what for our dear friend? I think I missed something. And Catherine, that is a lot of cotton yarn to be messing with. How to keep your hands from drying out? Because I don't care how high quality the cotton yarn is, it dries out my hands. Kathleen, what did you give to a dear friend and wore for a wedding? Also, what kind of yarn? What kind of cotton yarn did you use? I know that you're like me and you're a yarn snob, so I'm pretty sure you weren't using peaches and cream cotton. So, what kind of cotton did you use? I'm curious. Kathleen, what did you make though? It's Crochet Beast. Hi, Thea. Are you not using resin? I haven't busted my resin out yet. I think my daughter's about to bust it out because she's got a rose she wants to. suspending some. So I think we'll be busting that out here in a minute. Kathleen, what did you make out of yarn bead that you gave to a dear friend and she wore it to her wedding? I think we missed a post somewhere. At least I did. But I mean, Kathleen, even if okay, so if you got your time and your materials down, I still the skill level alone, I don't think I would charge less than 50 for them. Catherine used Lion Brand 24/7 and Hobby Lobbies. I love this cotton. I figured um, I use a lot of Lion Brand 24/7, but I also use a lot of Hobie cotton. The rainbow cotton. I love the rainbow cotton. So 65 for the set. So what yarn would you use instead? Hang on, people. I'm pretty sure this is my daughter messaging me to tell me that she's leaving to go pick up this bonus kid. Let me see. Hey, I'm running to get him. She's in my room with Zeus, and the other two dogs are locked up. Okay. I was right. Should probably message her back. Okay. Love ya. Oh, that's not what I said. Love ya. Be careful. All right. So, Catherine, what yarn would you use instead, though? I'm not sure how you can get the material cost down. I'm not sure on yarn. It would really depend on what yarn I find on the price. Yeah. I don't think you're going to do much better. Plus, I can't speak for I love this cotton because I've never used it because I don't shop at Hobby Lobby. But no. Oh, so you switch to a synthetic? Gotcha. Yeah, well, that would lower your cost for sure. But even if you switch to a synthetic like the Big Twist that is an anti-pilling, you know, that would cut your cost down, and you would still get a decent quality piece of it. It's not going to like pill, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, so that would actually lower the cost of your materials quite a bit. I love this cotton; it's super soft and was great for their outfits. No, nothing says you can't use both. That would still lower your yarn costs if you dropped the both to using both instead. And since they're both washable, you know that whole mixing fibers is less of a problem. Oh, they are, Joy. Her Raggedy Ann and Andy are really cute. But yeah. Sometimes there are things that we just it's not profitable to sell, or we really need to like take a step back and evaluate the materials we're using and see if we can't figure out a way to cut costs there so that you can afford to sell them. Oh, you asked if we had ever priced ourselves out of a make. I made a shawl. Okay, I did. I don't know if that message came through or not because I don't remember seeing your answer. That's why I was confused. Yeah, and Charles could be easy to price yourself out of. You know, because their size and the yarn you use, that could easily miss a price point easy. Okay, yeah, post a photo and we'll share. I'll share it. Um, yeah, yeah. There are certain things that you're like, oh wow, yeah, this is not. I'm not going to get what I put into this bag. And I have a shawl that I made that I'm not going to get back what I put in it. It's just not going to happen. But that's okay. It's this huge. Um, I showed it to you guys before, but it's more of a cape than a shawl. It's huge, and I'm never going to get what I paid it at what I've put into it out of it. There's no way. So it's just going to be my own personal cape wrap. I don't really know how to describe what it is. It's kind of like a cape mixed with a wrap, and it has a hood. So it's a very interesting piece. I love it personally. So I made it for me anyway. So, but yeah, it's kind of like a wrap with a hood. So so crochet beast, what are you working on? What are you doing? What's new? Fill us in. You too, Kelly. I don't think I asked you what you were up to. What you got going on? I'm going to see now. I'm on a mission because of that other vest that I was making that I frogged. Now I'm determined to turn that into a top down sweater because I don't like being bested, and that made me mad. So that's about to become a top down sweater, and I'm working on something else. I was going to show it to you, but um, I'm going to hold off on that. And wait, Catherine just posted the dolls on my Facebook page, so let me go look at those, and I shall share those with the class. There they are. Those are Catherine's Raggedy Ann and Andy. And I was around for all the steps to these, so, and I can attest to the amount of time and patience and care that she spent making them. But they turned out great. Little booties, the back and the front. But no, $75 a piece for those. 150 for the set. Yeah, easy. Because the amount of detail into each of those dolls is crazy. I mean, you got little ruffles on her pantaloons. She's got a skirt and an apron. He's got trousers, suspenders, and a sweater. Yeah. And he has a hat. Oh yeah, 150 for the two for both of them. That's makes perfect sense to me. And they're 2 feet tall and solid. I bet. Because that's the thing about cotton yarn. After you've accumulated a bit of it in the project, it gets heavy. And Tara's double what I needed, but I didn't know that at the time. So, yeah, she definitely got a head full of hair there. That is for sure. Okay. So, yeah, 150 for the pair. Yeah, I wouldn't balk at that at all. And I'm pretty sure that Raggedy Ann and Andy lovers probably wouldn't balk at it either. Because, I mean, you nailed them. They are definitely Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy. Yeah, no doubt. And how many hours did they take? I mean, I know how long I remember you talking about the process of making them, but seriously, how long did it take you to make them? Kathleen said it's okay. My husband says I'm very confusing. My whole family thinks I'm confusing. My whole family just kind of looks at me with a perpetual look of confusion on their face. They say I'm the one that put it there, but I think it's just their natural state. But so yeah, the hair took the longest. So how'd you apply the hair? I mean, did you just like kind of latch hook it in to the doll's head? I'm guessing. Hi, Crystal. You kind of just slipped on in here. They're adorable, but Raggedy Ann gives me the creeps every time. Eh, Since I learned the original Annabelle dolls, what was Raggedy Ann? Oh, jeez. Everybody say hi to Crystal, who just kind of stuck in here, unless she came in while I wasn't looking, and you all said hi to her already. Hi, Crystal. Ah, you just woke up from your come home and pass out nap. Ah, one piece at a time. Yeah, I figured that it was probably a piece by piece kind of situation because I had when I made a lion and his mane was one piece at a time, and I just kind of wanted to like I was getting pretty well. I wanted to stab people with the crochet hook by the time I was done with that mane. I was ready to stab somebody. The hair is what turns me off doing things like that. I have to talk myself into it. See, that's how I feel about Fringe. Love the look of Fringe. Hate making it. Catherine, you thought you had this, you had to attach hair to every row. Oh, good lord! No, probably every other row, every two rows, something like that, depending on the length. But she's got a full head of hair, that's for sure. Wait, so you love doing fringe, but the hair drove you crazy? Make that make sense. I Fringe just makes me stabby. I love how it looks. I hate doing it. It's not even hard. I just hate doing it. Absolutely detest it. And his head is as heavy as mine. Crystal saying slip stitch ribbing absolutely beautiful, but feels like torture. So is the twist single crochet. I love how it looks and it's easy to do, but it's torture. It just took forever. That's how I feel about Fringe. I'm sitting here and I'm doing Fringe. And I look down and I've done like 20 of them, but I still have 50 more to do. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I should be done by now. Then you have to get over the fear of trimming it. Give it all a bad haircut. Oh, well. Hi, Chris. Welcome. You should have taken her to the hairdresser. The yarn doctor, the yarn dresser, the latch hooker. Someplace, somewhere, somehow. You could have got her hair done. Um, but no, your dolls are adorable. 75 each, 150 for the set is well worth it. I say go for it if you want to sell them. Otherwise, you just have two very cute dolls that you can use as a display. And then when you get orders for them, you can use lower cost materials to make those. And quite frankly, those people aren't going to notice if you switch up the materials that much. Especially if you tell them up front that this is what you're going to make them out of. Like if you're going to make the bodies acrylic and their clothing is going to be cotton or something like that. If you tell them up front, then that's all they're going to be looking at. Crochet Crazy Crew on Etsy is where you got the pattern. So that's where Catherine got the pattern for Raggedy Ann and Andy. Now you know. Yeah, we do, Kathleen. We have some extremely talented people around here. So, Chris, what are you working on? How are you doing? What's new? Fill us in. So, has anybody got any orders that they need to fulfill? Have your holiday order started yet? I have two so far. I don't know if there'll be any more because I don't know if I'll have time to fulfill anymore. I've got a couple of patterns I'm still working on to get published. I really need to work on my coffee page and get more uh, people to buy me coffee. So, in case you didn't know, I do have a coffee page. I'm Mocha Crochet and Crafts over there. So, feel free to join my page, and if you want to buy me a coffee, maybe I'll give you a shout out on my next live or something like that. I also need to start doing videos again. I'm actually going to. I think I'm going to, since I've got this ridiculous stash. I mean, part of my videos, some gonna be on YouTube and some will be on other platforms because some of these I've already done on YouTube. I'm just gonna like take a brand of yarn I've got up there. I'm gonna review it and crochet with it and see and talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what I think it would be great to be used for. Like I said, that's probably going to be more on my other social platforms like TikTok. But It'll be a great way for me to get back into making videos because I got to get back into the habit of it, and that's part of the problem. I'm so out of the habit of making videos that getting started making videos again it's just feeling like a gigantic chore. And I know that once I get back into them, it'll be nothing to make them. But I just gotta get back into the habit of it. Let's see. Let's see. Hold each other. Catherine is saying unless they are willing to spend the money on cotton, yeah, you can give them the option. You give them the cotton option. You give them the acrylic option, and show them the price point to see which one they choose. Crystal saying working too much to even think of doing commission work. 10 hours every day plus the hour drive to and from work equals 12-hour days. Yeah, no, I can see that. Crochet Beast is saying you could give two different prices, acrylic versus cotton. It amazes me how many people think our yarn is wool based and they spin out when you inform them acrylic is plastic. Yeah, it is funny. People just don't realize that, like, uh, uh, yarn is made of all kinds of different fibers. Some some are natural and some are human made, and then some are a combination of the two, which really confuses people. I can't complain. Acrylic and cotton blends I find interesting. Can't say I love them. Can't say I hate them. They're just interesting. Um, then when you get into combining natural fibers like cotton and bamboo, or wool and cotton, wool or bamboo, stuff like that, that's when things get really interesting. And then, of course, you can also combine acrylics. You've got different kinds of acrylics you can combine. And then, of course, with acrylics, you have different kinds of. It just the combinations are almost endless, and the results are fascinating. But yeah, it's not all just go out, shoot a sheep, um, wind the wool. Here you go. And we're way beyond that. And Chris is saying a flat Tunisian socks by Janelle's crochet therapy and a Mama J crochet along. Okay, so another person doing socks. Constance saying my hands hurt too much to have to crochet. Oh, you're quite welcome, Chris. Did you get the hang of them? Um, I I remember, well, I chalked it up to be being new to Tunisian crochet. There was a little bit of a learning curve using them, but I enjoyed using them. I made quite a few items with those hooks. They're a nice set of hooks. Crystal saying I like cotton silk blends, but they feel like robbery because they are soft but not silky. Am I making sense? Uh, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, the fact that they're not silky is why they're usable. I mean, as much as I like tinsel, sometimes it's so slippery that it makes me kind of want to like scream. I know that's not silk, but that's kind of like the same texture of silk, and it makes me kind of want to like scream because it's so slippery. The cotton um, roughs it up a little bit, which is funny because cotton is pretty soft itself. It's smooth itself. Did you end up making socks? No, I haven't made socks yet. Um, they're still on my to-do list. I still have the yarn. Matter of fact, I have some of the yarn you gave me, some of the yarn Marquita gave me. It's still on my to-do list. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Just like I haven't picked up knitting hooks in I don't know how long. I don't even know where my knitting hooks are, or not hooks. Sorry, needles. I don't know where my knitting needles are. Cotton bamboo linen blend. That sounds nice. I don't like linen by itself. Not a fan. It's worse than cotton when it comes to drying out my skin. But combining it with cotton and bamboo can make for I can see how that can make for an interesting experience. Gasoline saying I'm supposed to be making more stuff for the fiber mill. I'm finding it very hard to do because it calls for making many of the same things over and over again. Oh yeah, I that drives me nuts. Are they big things that you have to make over and over again, or are they small? Because sometimes I could put on like a show or something, and I'll tell myself, all right, I'm going to make these items until the show is over, and I'm going to stop for a little while, and I'll come back. I'll put on another show or something. And okay, I'm gonna make these items until the show's over, and that's how I end up powering through doing stuff like that. Um, when I made those scarves last year, the Halloween scarves, that were the legs, the witch's legs, the scarecrow legs, and there's something else. Maybe it was witch's scarecrows. But anyway, when I was making those, that's what I had to do. I had to put on a show, and I'm like, look, I'm going to work on these until the end of the show, and then I can work on something else or do something else. And I had to like literally just space out my time like that in order for me to get them done. Because making the same thing over and over and over and over and over again makes me want to pull out my hair and punch somebody. Catherine, yes, there's an annoying cricket somewhere in my basement. I have no idea where it is. I know it's somewhere beyond, like behind my webcam. He's over by the window, but whenever I creep over there to try and find him, he stops. And as soon as I come over here and I sit back down, he starts again. So yeah, there's a cricket in here. When this is over, I'm probably gonna go get Poppy, and she'll probably come down and be able to ferret him out. If nothing else, she'll scare him off. I hope. Chris, are you talking about my move? Did it get better than expected? Once it finally happened, it was great. It was just getting to that point. It was an absolute nightmare um, getting through the closing process. I thought my daughter was like going to lose her mind. It took so long to close. And Thea's saying, when you bite the bullet and start, I will join you and make my first set with you. Oh, me and Socks, Thea? Okay. I'll let you know. It's on my list. Wait, did you mean socks or did you mean knitting? So you gotta be a little more specific. I have a lot of things that I'm supposedly doing that I've put in the back burner for a little while. Let's see. So, what? Now, see, Catherine, I hadn't even paid attention to the cricket. Now that's all I hear. Thanks, Catherine. But if you guys have been hearing this whole time, my apologies. I'm sorry. Um, I'll do my best to make sure that we don't have a cricket visitor next week. But yes, I most certainly do have a cricket visitor tonight. What fun. But it's better than the spider from a couple of weeks ago. That was no fun. I will take the cricket and chirping over the spider any day. So, is anything new going on in the YouTube streets I don't know about? Any new gossip? Any new crochet alongs or make alongs that I don't know about? Fill me in while I refill with my refreshing LaCroix lime sparkling water. Ooh, ah. See what you guys saying? You think it just started? Okay, it might have. I don't know. It's been here for like a day or so, but I only hear it at night. So a lot of times I forget it's down here until again it becomes night and it starts chirping. But he's chirped from the same place 2 nights in a row now. Kathleen is saying they are so nice at Two Roots, Ruth Ann and her husband. Oh, the fiber mill that you deal with. Okay. Crystal said, "Okay, I delete just out of question. I think Tank. I love to crochet. Lives in that area. She might could help. Okay. Whichever way you're going to make them crochet, knit them up for the challenge. Okay. Oh no, my first set is the first thing I'm going to make as knitted is probably going to be a scarf. So my first socks are probably going to be crochet. So Joyce, I thought it was my cat's toy. Crickets are good luck. Oh, that's good because I can use all the luck I can get. Um, Thea said not YouTube related, but I became. Oh, yay! You became a grandma for this on the 15th for the first time. Congratulations, Thea. What's your grandma name? What'd you pick? And did you have a grandson, a granddaughter? You need some deets here. I should know about the cow with mom. No, I have no idea. I live under a rock for the most part. I don't. So I never really find out about the crochet alongs and stuff. I come somehow I always miss those shots. Or I'm never in the right life at the right time apparently. Everybody else is congratulating Thea. I just want to know Thea's grandma name. I think it should be Grandma Crochet Beast, but hey, that's just me. And how many items has she made for the baby? That's another thing I want to know. But let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I started to. Yeah, I am working on something else, but I'm going to share that to you next week because I figured something out and I'm all excited. But I figured something out after I had messed it up, so I have to like pull some back and fix that, and then I will show you the finished project because I don't want to show you the one where I screwed up, even though it was the one that helped me figure everything out. If that made any sense whatsoever. Kathleen is saying absolutely right. I have to really discipline myself to make me brave the sameness. Oh yeah, it's a nightmare. It's doing MJ's off the hook color block sweater. MJ's off the hook color block sweater. Already, I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look that up. I am doing the cow 2 years later. Yeah, I'm like that too for the most part. I am not good at doing them except on my own timeline. Oh, she's Nana Thea. His name is Cyrus. 7 pounds 3 ounces. Mom is actually my 25-year-old stepdaughter, but I claim them as my own. Hey, nothing wrong with that. So congratulations, Nana Thea. Yay. Yeah, grandies are great. Yeah, it's a whole different level of everything when you become a grandparent. It's just something about it. Yeah. Oh, I tell you guys that the grandkid decided she wanted to learn to crochet. So that's going to be happening. I really think I'm going to sit her down with a couple of crochet for kid YouTube channels and then just fill in some gaps for her that way. I think it'd be better that way. First of all, because I'm left-handed and she's not. So even if she's sitting across from me, if we mirror each other, she may or may not get it. And if she doesn't get it, then I'm really not going to be that great at coming behind her and fixing it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to set her up with some crochet for kids tutorials from YouTube and then just fill in holes if she gets confused. I can do that. So, he had a bit of trouble the first day or so, but the great people at the hospital fixed him up. That's good. I'm glad. Yay. I'm glad to hear they're doing well too. She's crocheted a ton of stuff since the day she told us she was pregnant. Of course you did. That's just a given. You know, the words are probably still ringing. We're probably still ringing in the air, and as fast as the crochets, she probably had her first baby like halfway done. Because that's just how she rolls. So, oh, the kids are home, judging from the noise I'm hearing upstairs. So yeah, so she's gonna learn to crochet, and I'm gonna like just hang out behind her. And the first thing and I asked her, so what do you want to learn to crochet first? She's like, a granny square. I was like, of course you do. It's like, well, I want to make a scarf. I'm like, so not only are you going to learn how to make a granny square, you're also going to learn how to sew granny squares together. This should be fun. I'm just laughing at that. Congrats to you on being a grandpa. It's funny that you said that because when my daughter was pregnant and we were finding out whether she was having a boy or a girl, I had posted to Facebook. It's like tomorrow I find out whether I'm going to be a grandma or a grandpa, and people were totally confused about the joke. They just did not get the joke. There's so many people having babies right now at my work. Even there have been two guys to become dads in the last month, and my boss just found out he has baby number two coming. Of course, he's only 24. Oh, good lord, he's a boy himself. I was 23 and my daughter was born. So many babies having babies right now. Oh my goodness. So how are you supposed to do when you have a baby? What, 46? You know? I mean, you know. Uh, all right, so you guys, there's a couple of crochet alongs going on. Um, so nobody has any holiday projects they're working on. I asked this before, but like I said, I've got a couple. Um, Still working on the turtles, and I have Oh, excuse me, an Afghan. Well, not an Afghan, a Lapghan to make. And I think I'm gonna make a shawl for somebody as a gift. That's pretty much all I have as far as like stuff to make that I have to make for the holidays. I'm probably gonna make some decorations and stuff. But right now, I'm still working on my decorations for spooky season and Thanksgiving. So that's what I shall be working on. Oh, good God, Thea. She had three babies by the time she was 23. No, I have one. One and done. One was plenty. Oh, man. All right. I had two by 23 and was done. Didn't have the patience for number three. Uh, one more time, people in the back. One and done. Well, mainly because she was a really, really, really good baby, and I didn't think I could get that lucky twice. So I figured, well, let me just, yeah, one's enough. And she liked being an only child anyway. So, all right, y'all. I think I'm gonna wrap this up because, as you can hear, I'm getting congested, which is normally a sign that I've been talking too long and too much. You've only been able to teach six of your grannies so far. How many grandkids do you have, Kathleen? That you're saying that you've only been able to teach six. But yeah, she wants to make a granny square scarf. So this should be interesting. Unless I teach her how to make a rectangular granny square. Hmm. Yeah, but that's not a bad idea. Plus, she's making a scarf for herself. It's not gonna be that long. So I really could teach her how to make a rectangular granny square, and it could be the length, or maybe just like two of them put together and make the full length of the scarf. Hmm. She may or may not go for that. We'll see. Good night, Chris. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. She took her meds. She's getting eyes are getting heavy. Thea saying at Divergent Crafter, I ended up with four of my own, and my partner came with extras. Allergy season this year has been rough. Yeah, it has. Catherine saying goodnight. Yeah, I was starting to say goodnight. Um, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I may have to take some allergy meds myself, depending on what this whole thing is doing. Thanks for being here. It was fun as always. I'll be back next week with more things to talk about, maybe some more finished objects, some more works in progress, maybe even some finisher frogs. We'll have to see. I still have crates that I'm trying to get to that I haven't gotten to yet. You could have spent this last hour and 25 minutes anywhere, but you chose to spend it here. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. On your way out, if you could hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. Um, and if you haven't subscribed to me already, I think most of you have already, but still, and you think you might be interested in hanging out with me more often, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you know when I go live. Um, Again, I have a Facebook page, Mocha Crochets and Crafts. I've got my coffee page, which is also Mocha Crochets and Crafts. I'm on TikTok. I'll put all these links in the description box, so I'm not gonna like rattle them all off to you. But yeah, if you guys could like find me and friend me and like kind of like boost my signal because I'm really back into wanting to grow my channel again since I'm back. And but yeah, thanks for being here. I will chat with y'all in the YouTube streets, and if nothing else, I'll see you back here this time next week. Everybody have a great night, everybody. Bye.